If you're dealing with muscle twitching or that shaky, weak feeling, the last thing you want is a trigger you're accidentally taking every day. And 3 common ones are caffeine, pre-workout formulas, and nicotine.
The tricky part is that they can also make you feel sharper or more energized at first, so you assume they're helping.
But underneath, they can push your nervous system into a higher gain setting. That makes normal signals feel louder and small muscle fibers fire when they don't need to. It can also make fatigue feel like weakness, even when your strength is mostly intact. This isn't about blaming you or saying these substances are bad. It's about understanding why symptoms can spike after coffee, an energy drink, a scoop of pre-workout, or a vape. Once you see the mechanisms, you can test changes calmly and track what actually moves the needle for you.
Moving to slide 2. First, a quick reset on what twitching and weakness often mean. Twitching is usually small, involuntary muscle fiber firing, often called fasciculations. Many people get them when stressed, sleep-deprived, or after hard training. Weakness is trickier. There's true weakness, where the muscle cannot produce force, and there's perceived weakness, where you feel shaky, heavy, or unsteady, even though you can still perform. Stimulants can worsen both sensations by increasing arousal and tightening the feedback loop between your brain, nerves, and muscles. When that loop is sensitive, you notice every tiny flutter. You also scan your body more, which makes symptoms feel bigger. None of this means it's all in your head. It means your nervous system is running hot. The goal is to understand what turns the dial up and what brings it back down. Moving to slide 3. Caffeine's main move is blocking adenosine. Adenosine is a signal that builds up as you're awake, and it helps create sleep pressure and calm. When caffeine blocks it, your brain feels less tired. But it also removes part of your natural braking system. That tends to increase adrenaline-like signaling, raise heart rate, and make your muscles more ready to fire. In a stable system, that's just alertness. In a sensitive system, it can feel like internal buzzing. Caffeine can also increase anxiety in some people, and anxiety itself increases muscle tension and twitch frequency. Another detail is timing. If caffeine disrupts your sleep, even slightly, the next day your nervous system is more irritable. Then you reach for more caffeine. That loop, stimulation, poor recovery, more stimulation, is a classic way twitching and shaky weakness can snowball. Moving to slide 4, now add exercise. Many people notice twitching after workouts, especially legs and calves. That can happen from normal fatigue, microstress to muscle fibers, and changes in electrolyte balance through sweat. Caffeine and pre-workout can stack on top of that by pushing you to train harder, longer, or with less perceived effort. You may also clench more without noticing, because stimulants increase drive and focus. That extra tension can keep motor units on edge, even after you finish. Post-workout, your body is trying to shift into recovery mode. If stimulants are still active, that downshift is slower. You stay wired, your heart rate stays higher, and you interpret normal post-training sensations as something wrong. If twitching is already a worry for you, that interpretation matters. It increases vigilance, which increases symptoms. So the workout isn't the only factor. The chemical context around it is.
Moving to slide 5. Pre-workout deserves its own section because it's rarely just caffeine. Many formulas combine multiple stimulants or stimulant-like compounds, and the label doesn't always tell you how they'll feel together. Common additions include yohimbine, synephrine, and other adrenergic compounds that push the fight-or-flight system. Some people tolerate them fine. Others get tremor, jitter, palpitations, and muscle shakiness. Pre-workout can also include beta-alanine, which often causes tingling. That tingling is not dangerous for most people, but if you're already worried about nerve symptoms, it can raise anxiety and body scanning. Another issue is dose creep. One scoop becomes 2, or you switch brands and the stimulant load changes. The result is a nervous system that's repeatedly spiked, then crashed. If you're trying to figure out why twitching and weakness feel unpredictable, pre-workout variability is a big suspect. Moving to slide 6. Let's talk nicotine. Nicotine is a stimulant and a stress system activator, even if it feels calming in the moment. That calm is often relief from withdrawal or a quick dopamine hit that smooths discomfort. Physiologically, nicotine can increase heart rate, raise blood pressure, and increase adrenaline signaling. That can translate into tremor, muscle tension, and a more reactive nervous system. Nicotine also affects breathing patterns. Many people take shorter, shallower breaths when using it, especially with frequent hits. Overbreathing or irregular breathing can shift carbon dioxide levels, and that can increase tingling, lightheadedness, and muscle irritability in some people. Another factor is sleep. Nicotine can fragment sleep and reduce deep rest. And just like caffeine, poor sleep makes twitching and shaky weakness more likely the next day. So nicotine can create a cycle: stimulation, tension, worse sleep, then more symptoms. Moving to slide 7. Here's a key mechanism. Stimulants increase motor neuron excitability. Motor neurons are the final wires that tell muscle fibers to contract. When excitability is higher, it takes less input for a motor unit to fire. That can show up as twitching at rest, especially when you're tired. Stimulants also increase sympathetic tone, meaning your body leans toward action, not recovery. That changes how you hold your posture. You might keep your shoulders slightly raised, jaw slightly clenched, calves slightly engaged. Over hours, that low-grade contraction can feel like weakness because the muscle is never fully relaxed. Another layer is that stimulants can increase the perception of internal signals. You feel your heart beat more, you feel small tremors more, you notice a tiny twitch that you would have ignored. So the symptom can be both more frequent and more noticeable. Those two together feel dramatic. Moving to slide 8. Another reason weakness can feel worse is the crash. After a stimulant peak, your body often swings toward fatigue, lower mood, and reduced coordination. That doesn't necessarily mean your muscles got weaker. It can mean your nervous system is less efficient at recruiting them smoothly. You may feel unsteady on stairs, shaky during fine movements, or like your grip is off. If you respond by taking more caffeine or another hit of nicotine, you get a second spike, and the roller coaster continues. Blood sugar can play a role too. Some pre-workouts suppress appetite, and if you train hard without enough fuel, you can feel weak and trembly. Also, dehydration plus stimulants can worsen perceived fatigue. The important takeaway is that symptoms can track the stimulant curve, not your true physical capacity. Watching the timing of symptoms, peak, crash, and next-day effect often reveals the pattern. Moving to slide 9. Electrolytes are another common piece of the puzzle. Twitching is often linked in people's minds to magnesium or potassium. Sometimes that's relevant, but it's not the only story. Stimulants can increase urination, and hard training increases sweat loss. That can shift sodium and fluid balance, which affects nerve and muscle signaling. Even mild dehydration can make your heart race more with the same dose of caffeine, which then increases the feeling of being wired. And when you're wired, you tend to breathe differently and tense more. So electrolytes can be both a direct factor and an indirect amplifier. The practical point is not to megadose supplements. It's to notice if your worst twitch days line up with high stimulant intake, plus heavy sweating, plus low food intake. That combination is a perfect storm for irritability, cramps, and shaky weakness sensations. Moving to slide 10. There's also a mental loop that's very real. Stimulants increase threat sensitivity. If you're already concerned about twitching, you may start checking your calves, your hands, your eyelids. You test your grip, you do extra reps to prove you're okay. That checking is understandable, but it keeps your nervous system on alert, and alert systems create more twitching. This is why two people can take the same pre-workout and have totally different experiences. One person interprets the sensations as normal stimulation, the other reads them as danger, and the body responds with more adrenaline. The goal isn't to ignore symptoms, it's to reduce the feedback loop. If you want clean data, you need calmer observation. That means consistent sleep, consistent dosing, and fewer variables. When you do that, patterns become obvious, and you can make decisions without panic. Moving to slide 11. So how do you test whether caffeine, pre-workout, or nicotine is making things worse without guessing? Use a simple elimination and reintroduction approach. Pick one variable first, usually pre-workout because it has the most hidden ingredients. Hold training volume steady for a week. Keep sleep and hydration as consistent as you can. Then remove that one stimulant source for several days and track twitch frequency, shakiness, and perceived weakness at the same times each day. If things improve, reintroduce a smaller dose and see if symptoms return. With caffeine, also watch timing. Many people do better by moving it earlier and keeping a hard cutoff. With nicotine, consistency matters too, because frequent small doses can keep you in a constant stimulated state. The point is not perfection. The point is a controlled experiment so you stop living in mystery. Moving to slide 12. A few safety notes matter here. If you have new, progressive, or one-sided weakness or twitching with muscle wasting, that's a reason to get medical evaluation rather than self-experimenting. Also, palpitations, chest pain, fainting, or severe shortness of breath should be checked urgently. For most people, though, the common pattern is benign twitching plus heightened arousal. And in that situation, reducing stimulant load often reduces symptom intensity. It may not make twitching disappear completely, but it can lower the volume. It can also improve sleep, which is one of the strongest stabilizers of nerve and muscle behavior. If you take pre-workout, consider whether you actually need the full dose, or whether a smaller amount gives the benefit without the jitter. And if nicotine is part of the picture, it's worth recognizing it as a stimulant, not a relaxant, when you interpret your symptoms. Moving to slide 13. Let's tie it together. Caffeine blocks your natural calm signal and can disrupt sleep. Pre-workout often stacks multiple stimulants and adds sensations like tingling that can increase worry. Nicotine activates stress pathways and can keep your system in a constant on state, while also hurting sleep quality. All three can increase motor neuron excitability, muscle tension, and the perception of internal signals. That combination can make twitching more frequent and make fatigue feel like weakness. If you want the most useful next step, don't chase 10 supplements. Run one clean experiment and watch the timing. Now I'm curious, what's the bigger trigger for you? Caffeine or pre-workout? Leave a comment with A for caffeine or B for pre-workout. And if you want more calm, mechanism-based explanations like this, subscribe. This information is not a substitute for medical advice.